They need to succeed in whether it's Gaza or whether it's Lebanon or whether it's Syria and whether Afghanistan. They need to focus on GDP, not GDT. Gross domestic product, not gross domestic terrorism. And the problem is they're obsessed. Put the guns down. Put the Quran down. Actually start living by the words that the Quran says, not some false equivalent of what they think is actually going on there. You talk about the genocide in Israel or in Gaza as if it's just a matter of fact. Well, let me show some stats for you, because after you see these stats, Israel's the worst genociders ever. The numbers, and we have no solutions. What's your solution?
Justice. Stop killing people and give them back their land. That's it.
Okay.
And giving them back the land, it's going to be a much more complicated thing.
Who's going to lead your negotiations? Mahmoud Abbas, 88 years old?
I have no idea, man.
No,
I have no idea.
That's the point, is you don't have an idea.
Well, when I say I have no idea, I'm being humble, because there's a million people who can do it, but like, I'm not a politician, I'm a comedian. I come here to tell some of my opinions, but the thing is, you want to put me, and you use that, and you give me, I'm sorry to say, butchered political information and numbers that doesn't say anything.
Stats are really butchered in political vision. But it's interesting how you have all the solutions for Israel, but you have no solutions for Gaza or Hamas. Very interesting. Very interesting how you can critique everything that's going on in Israel. Yes, they do have some things they need to rectify, just like the United States, just like any democracy. You've got all the answers there, boss. When I said, what do they do over here in Gaza? What do they do? I have no idea. I'm just a comedian. Don't listen to me. So which one is it? You either know your shit or you're actually just...
So what was your question? What's the solution for Israel?
So what's the solution?
I said the Israel
for
take
Gaza?
back the land. For Gaza, how about you stop the killing and then we can talk?
Okay, so let's say we do that.
Okay.
So here's what I believe. I think we need to demilitarize Gaza. We need to de-radicalize, because they're the leading...
How are you going to de-radicalize? How do you do that?
Well, maybe let's stop.
So how about
stop summer schools where they teach about jihad and they start playing football and soccer.
How about the religious schools in Israel that actually tell people that we should kill all Arabs? And these videos are...
You know all those Jews that are running around bombing everywhere around the world? No, it doesn't fucking exist. It's only in Islam.
Oh, really? But what about the Jews killing the Palestinians inside?
I'm talking about around the world. If I said there was
we're bad people. We're bad people. Take us out.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, we're very...
What I'm saying is they need to...
religion. We are a terrorist religion. Take it out.
You said it. Your words.
Let's do it.
You said it. Your words.
Yeah.
Your words.
Let's do it. I mean, like,
your words.
This is like you have a really interesting outlook for people who look like me. You look at me and I'm Muslim, and you have all of these assumptions about me being a terrorist, while Islam is not a terrorist.
You said the words, Bassett. I didn't say those words.
You know what's the difference between Islam and terrorists? They go on like some rogue groups and they kill and they do shitty stuff. But you have like a whole country with a whole military arsenal who is committing terrorism every single day, backed up by the US.
There it is. There's your Israel talking.
Yeah. I'm going to talk it. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Totally cool.
That's my opinion.
Totally cool. Yeah. It's all good. But you're trying to tell me that Islam doesn't have a terrorist problem?
Muslims have a terrorist problem.
Because we're running around all over the world blowing themselves up as suicide bombers. As a Jew, I'd be like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Okay.
This is accomplishing nothing.
But here's the
reality. Jews aren't doing that, and Christians aren't doing that.
Jews are not.
Let me ask you a question.
They're not doing that in Gaza. They're not doing that in the West Bank.
Everything you talk about is Gaza. I'm talking about the world.
That's what's happening right now.
You're so obsessed with this one topic.
I am.
I'm trying to understand the world.
There.
Okay, it's in Israel.
Really?
So only your family counts. My family doesn't count.
No. Okay, but like, did your family live in an open air prison and being killed every day?
The open air prison, the genocide.
You see how you're
get some new talking points. You see how open air prison.
Only talking point.
Israel left Gaza in 2000.
So let me stop that right there. This is the PBD podcast. I think this went viral. The PBD podcast is a bunch of racist immigrants who run. The guy who runs this podcast. I heard him he made a statement one time. He said, I'm a millionaire. I came to this country, 30 years ago and became a millionaire. These black people in America, these Negroes, I don't know why they complain about racism. America's not racist, blah, 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 blah. So then he has a host, one of his other guys that does shows and works with him. He's having a debate with this guy, Bassem. He went viral on Piers Morgan, so then they had him on here. He's an Egyptian. His wife is from Palestine. And so then he launched, so he makes the guy, he called him a racist. He wound up calling him a racist because he is. I'll play that before I end this. But he started making statements about white people, white Jews, and white, Christians are not terrorists, right? These people are the biggest hypocrites and liars on the planet, and I'm about to prove it. White people and Jews are the biggest terrorists white Christians and white Jews, particularly white Jews, are the biggest terrorists on the planet. Not Hamas, not Al Qaeda, not, Taliban, not anybody, not the Houthis who they just said are terrorists. White Christians and white Jews have always been the largest terrorist group and the most murderous, genocidal maniacs on the planet throughout history. Not black people, not Arabs, not nobody, right? And that's very easily provable. So he sits here and says, all of the Muslim Arabs, all these Arabs and these Arab people, they the biggest terrorists on the planet, right? He said not white Jews, not these white Christians like himself, right? They not terrorists. Only Arabs and other people are terrorists. Are the biggest terrorists on the planet. They are the terrorist problem. Black people, Arabs, stuff like that. They are the terrorist problem on the planet. They're destroying everything. And white people, they're bringing civilization to the planet. Like these white Jews are bringing civilization and et cetera, et cetera. So that's his argument, which is the most backwards, satanic, racist statements, that you could ever listen to, right? And you say, well, maybe I'm making that up, right? Maybe he's honest and I'm not. Well, let's just look at some facts. Let's go over some facts and figures, right? How many people were killed in Iraq? Would ever be about 1 million people. Who caused that? Was it Arabs? No, it was white Christians and Jews. Why were the white Christians and Jews behind that? Saddam Hussein, for all the stupid people, white people think everybody's stupid. And a lot of them are. A lot of Negroes, different people are stupid. But I'm about to educate people, right? Saddam Hussein was against the state of Israel. The state of Israel controls the U.S. government. They jockeyed the U.S. government to go after Saddam Hussein, and they came up with this story that somehow, he was a terrorist and he had something to do with 9/11, which none of that was true. He was about to launch weapons of mass destruction. That came from the Jews, in the what they call the neocons. That means the neo-Nazis within the American government, which are the Zio-Nazis, right? Basically the Zio-Nazis and the Anglo-Nazi, which is the, same as Hitler or whatever. They got together and they launched the strikes on Iraq, right? That's a fact. Everybody knows it. We don't have to dispute history, right? They were behind that. That turned out they killed like 1 million people in Iraq who never did anything. Those people had nothing to do with 9/11, Al Qaeda or anything else, but they did that just so they could get rid of what they saw as a threat to the Jews, right? The Jews say, well, Saddam Hussein, he won't go along with us, so we need to have him killed. Let's pick a fight with him and the Americans. We'll force them to get rid of our enemies. And in turn, they killed 1 million people. So when this man says the Jews aren't terrorists, he's a liar. They're the biggest terrorist group on the planet. The Jews are the biggest terrorist group on the planet, right? Right behind, the white Anglo and the white Jew, white Christian Anglo, white, Anglo Jew, whatever. This is the biggest terrorist group on the planet. I just proved it, right? ISIS hasn't killed 1 million people. You see? Now that's just the beginning. I'm gonna go on. Now I could pull up articles, but a lot of this shit is common sense. Now, to build the United States, but I am gonna pull up something. Stand by. So Judah P. Benjamin, right, was a white Jewish man who was second in charge of the Confederacy that brought blacks into slavery in the United States, right? And in turn, Jim Crow, et cetera, that led to the problems with black people in America today, right? So the Jews, white Jews, right? What does it say right there, right? Benjamin was born to a Sephardic Jewish parents from London, in St. Croix in the Danish West Indies, right? So white Jews terrorized the Caribbean, right, and brought slavery into the Caribbean and into America, right? They terrorized black people, right, and impoverished them and brought them into slavery along with the white Christian, right? That is terrorism. To wage war on somebody and to put them into slavery is terrorism, right? I mean, I'm not sure if you would call it humanitarian slavery, right? So they terrorized people and enslaved them from Africa to the Caribbean, right? So this is history. This is not like something I made up, right? How many people did they kill bringing them? How many people did these Jews and these white Anglos and white Christians and white Jews kill during the slave trade? Let me help you out. About 100 million. There's never been a genocide that big, right? Terrorist genocide that big in the history of the world, right? And they cry about they killed us in the Holocaust, a German white on white crime. Oh God, the Holocaust. They said they killed 6 million, white on white crime, right? White German Anglos killed allegedly, right? 6 million white Jews while they fighting amongst each other, right? And then they go in and attack the Palestinians in 1948, a terrorist attack, and then take their land, right? Terrorism. He said white people don't terrorize anybody. White Jews don't terrorize nobody. Well, I'm showing you right now, that's a fucking lie. They are historical terrorists. They are the original terrorists on the planet. The white Jew and the white Christian is the original terrorists on the planet. Racial, racist, Nazi terrorists. They killed 100 million. They combined, the Jew and the Christian combined to kill over 100 million so-called black people in the Caribbean and in the United States. That's a fact. But this white man, right? This white man says, right here on the PBD podcast, he don't know nothing about no white terrorism and no Jewish terrorism. Huh? You don't know nothing about it. You don't know nothing about no white Jewish terrorism. You don't know nothing about white people in terrorism. What the fuck are you talking about, sir? They killed 100 million people, black people, for no reason other than they wanted to make some money and they wanted to build shit and take over. They waged war and killed 100 million black people. White Jews did that. And white Christians, right? The original terrorists. They invaded Palestine in 1948 because of some white on white crime event in Germany and waged war on the Arabs, right? So that they could build a colonial outpost for white Europeans ran by white Jews in Palestine, North Africa, right? To run strikes on North Africans and Arabs to this day, right? And terrorize people. But this white man, he says, I don't know what you're talking about. The only terrorists I seen is Arabs or black people. White Jews and white people, we just build civilization. We don't terrorize anybody. We never bother nobody. We don't create no problems, right? The biggest crock of shit in the world, right? What do they say that the biggest trick the devil played on the world was convincing people that he was not real and he did not exist. This man is a goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. He's trying to pretend that the wickedness that they are perpetrating on the world does not exist. He just did it, right? Do I have to rewind the tape? Do I have to keep posting articles showing them, all the murder, death, and destruction? The white Jew is the original terrorist. They are terrorizing Americans right now. Let's pull up another article. Fuck it. So here's some articles. Here's one from the Intercept. School contract in Texas denied work over pro-Israel loyalty oath. So they are terrorizing, they're using their political apparatus to terrorize people in the United States. They terrorizing the American population. They terrorizing Kyrie Irving. They're terrorizing Nick Cannon. They're terrorizing Kanye West. They're terrorizing this woman in Texas and fired her from her job, right? And said that she has to sign an Israeli loyalty oath, right? So they come here to America from a foreign country, Israel, right? And then they terrorize the American politician and force them to pass laws to then terrorize and say, well, listen, if you don't, it's the mark of the beast. If you don't sign on the dotted line and agree with us and sign your soul to the devil, right? And swear allegiance to Satan, the devil, then we're going to cut off your jobs and your businesses. That's terrorism, sir. Political terrorism. You see? Knesset passes law requiring pledge from diplomats, right? Loyalty oath. Israel proposes Jewish state loyalty oath, right? Israeli loyalty oath is another story right here, is an obstacle to peace. You see? So you have to sign a loyalty oath. Something is wrong with that, man. You gotta sign a loyalty oath, right? Sounds like the mark of the beast in the Bible, right? Where it says no man could buy or sell, right? Unless he took the name, number, or the mark of the beast. When you write your name on a loyalty oath, that is a mark. You see? You take the mark, you make a mark, and you take the mark of the beast in exchange. You see? Are you loyal to the devil or not? This man says the Jewish man, white Jewish man, and the white Anglo man are not terrorists. This is terrorism, right? They terrorize you on all levels. You see? So he is a liar. It's quite clear this man is a liar, right? I've already proven that. I don't know if I need to go on. I'm not going to read this whole article. I just wanted to highlight this. Ralph Bunche, UN mediator in the Middle East, 1948 to 49, right? If you read that, when the chief UN negotiator, Folk Bernat, was murdered by the Jewish extremists in 1948, Bunche had to replace him. You see? So you see, Ralph Bunche was the first black diplomat in the United States and was considered one of the most brilliant, intelligent people in the United States at that time. He was considered a genius. He worked for the United States government. Now, as you can see from the headline on the article, the Jewish terrorists, right, because Ralph Bunche and the UN wouldn't agree with everything that the Jewish terrorist state of Israel wanted, they started murdering the UN negotiators, and Ralph Bunche had to flee Israel because they started killing the team that he worked with. Right? What does it say? The chief UN negotiator, Folk Bernadette, was murdered by Jewish extremists in 1948. Bunche had to replace him, but then they killed the man working with Ralph Bunche, and Ralph Bunche fled back to New York City. He had to flee for his life because the Jewish terrorists put a hit on Ralph Bunche because he would not sign a loyalty oath and agree with them to everything they wanted. So they tried to murder Ralph Bunche. The United States government never held them accountable for that. Any of those people. They let them all go, right? They ran the original Israeli government, the first iteration in 1948, was running hits on the UN negotiators and was killing anybody that disagreed with them. It's right there in writing. I didn't make it up. But he says, right, stand by. But this white man right here on the PBD podcast says only Arabs and black people, stuff like that, are terrorists. There are no white Jewish terrorists. There is only Arab terrorists. There's only dark-skinned people or Arabs or something like that that are terrorists, or Indians or savages or whatever, right? But here we see that at the founding of the state of Israel, that it was just basically a bunch of Jewish terrorists and a bunch of white terrorists running around assassinating people, killing Arabs, and stealing land to create the terrorist state that is now Zionist terrorist state that now is called Israel. And there has never been any accountability, right? But he says he don't know nothing about no white Jewish terrorism. I'm about to rap, man. I mean, it's a waste of time. See, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. It's a waste of time. These people are a waste of time. Matter of fact, their time is up. It's about to end. You see? That's why the Bible say they are the end of the world. They're about to end. Their world is about to end. Let's do this. Stand by. See, the end was written in the beginning. Ezra is one of the first books of the Bible, and Ezra is one of the most holy and accurate prophets that ever existed. You are fully ignorant if you don't understand that at this time, right? You are fully blind. 2nd Esdras 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. What does that mean? Do you know? What does that mean? Esau, the Gentile, right? The white man is the end of the world. Jacob is who is Jacob? Jacob's name was changed to Israel, gave birth to the 12 organic original tribes of the earth. You see? And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. See, what is he saying there? It's very cryptic. He's saying that these inorganic ones are the end, they're going to cause the end of this world as we know it. The so-called white Jewish man and the so-called white Christian man, right, is the end of the world. That's now. That's 2024, 2025, 2026, right? The Gentile, the false Jew, is the end of the world. You see? And Jacob is the world, beginning of the world that follows, meaning they won't be here. They'll be wiped out, and then the beginning of the world that follows, Jacob, the 12 organic bloodlines of the earth will be all that's left. That's the prophecy for the end and the beginning. See, it's not all bad, right? As the Kendrick Lamar song says, we gonna be all right. You see? Very prophetic. We will be all right. Why? Because 2nd Esdras says so, and Ezra never lied, you fools. You see, if you never read Ezra, you don't know a damn thing about the Bible. The Bible shouldn't even be real to you unless you read Ezra. It didn't become real to me until I read Ezra. The prophecy of Ezra. And I realized that that what Ezra was saying was 100% factual and easily provable. At that point, I was in no doubt about the credibility of the Holy Scriptures and the prophecies. It changed my mind, you see. And so this is a prophecy right here. Ezra gave many great, accurate, timely prophecies about the time that we live in, the end of the world. This is the end of the world. This is the end of their world. Tupac wrote a song called White Man's World. This is what Pac was talking about. It's the end of their world. Esau's world, the Gentile. The white man in Europe in Israel is a Gentile. He is not from the tribe of Judah. He is not from the tribe of Benjamin. He is not from the tribe of Dan. He is not from the tribe of Issachar. They are not from the tribe, fill in the blanks. They have no relation. They are the spawn of Satan. They are hybrids. Call them Neanderthals, call them hybrids, call them whatever. That's why interracial marriage and interracial relationships is outlawed in the Bible, because you're not supposed to mix with them. But mix with these different creatures that are not organic. I know it hurts, but it's the truth. I gotta tell you, it's almost over. A lot of y'all, you damned yourself and your children by mixing with a lot of them. You see? And the mixed blood in your veins might even be damning you anyway, like me. I may be damned by them, you see. I may be damned by the slavery and the slave rape, you see. Because my DNA may be too tarnished to be, for me to move forward. So this may be the end of the earth for me too, the end of the world for me, whether I may not become an old man, you see, because of the curse of Esau, the curse, the genetic curse, their genetic curse, you see. It's a genetic curse if the white man rapes your grandmother, you see. You may wind up genetically cursed when the armies come, you see, because they can't separate that DNA from your body, so they'll have, only thing for you is, right, you won't make it. You've been genetically destroyed. Yeah, I know it sounds bad, but it's the truth. Wait a minute, is this racist? No, it's not. It's just the truth. It's science. It's not racism. It's just science, you see. You're not supposed to create, I know this is going off into another zone, but I'm going to go that way for a minute. You're not supposed to create genetically modified creatures on the earth. That goes for humans as well. It is against universal law to cross a pig and a human, right? Or a dolphin and a human, or whatever. That's against, the same way it's against genetic law to mix an alien hybrid, the spawn of Satan, with the tribes of Jacob. You see? I know you don't understand. A lot of you not going to get it until the ships crack the sky and you get separated. And you get, a higher power tells you this, not me, not a lowlife like me. What I say doesn't mean anything, but once you see it, then you'll believe it. You're not, a lot of people, they're not the type of people that understand something before it happens. They can't learn from their mistakes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're not, if you look at most of the people 95% of them are not like that. That's my superpower, right? I can learn from my mistakes at a certain level. Most people can't. Now, so they can't, what I'm saying sounds crazy. They can't understand Ezra, the prophet, you see? When he says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. It has to end, you see? It has to end, because if not, they'll just call you a terrorist and steal your land and attack you, you see? Like the man from the PBD podcast. You understand? It has to be brought to an end. You see, they are the end of the world. Why do you think it's about to be World War III? Because Ezra was right. He said, what did he say? It's right in front of you. Esau is the end of the world. Ezra has never been fucking wrong. Go read any of the prophecies. You'll see what I'm telling you is true. Don't take it from me. Ezra has never been wrong. But I would bet $100 nobody understands the prophecies of Ezra. Haven't read them. They're not up for it. Be like, this is up for interpretation. There is no interpretation in Ezra. Just read it. It's plain as the day is long. There's 24 hours in the day. It's very plain. Right? So, and you have to understand that. Right? You have to come to understand the realization. The matrix is collapsing. It is the end of the world. Right? But you have to understand second Ezra. It's the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. What is that telling you? It's the end of their world, not the entire planet. The planet is not going to disintegrate. They are. You see? Because there is no reasoning with these people, right? I mean, let's just be honest, right? Right? You're not going to reason with these people, right? You're not going to reason with the PBD podcast, right? You're not going to make a peace deal and reason with Joe Biden, right? You're not going to reason with Benjamin Netanyahu. You're not going to I mean, you know what I mean? You're not going to reason with these guys on a PBD podcast. They are the end of the world. You can't tell. You can't see that. You can't see that they have brought us here. It's not Arabs that brought us here, but they telling you that on the PBD podcast that Arabs and, you know, I guess black people, whatever, they terrorists and they fuck the world up. Well, the Bible said you are the end of the world. White man, Jew man, whatever you are. Not black people. It didn't say black people are the end of the world. It didn't say the Arab Semite is the end of the world. It didn't say the Indian and the indigenous are the end of the world. It said that you are, and if you look around, who is doing this? Who has brought us here? Is it black people? Is it the South Africans that's defending the Arab Semite from genocide at the ICJ? Are they causing the end of the world? Is it black people? I mean, let's just call balls and strikes. Or is it the white Jew in Israel that controls the United States government, that has caused the destruction of the Iraqis, that has caused the destruction of Libya, that has caused the destruction of Syria, is forcing loyalty oaths on people in the United States, who murdered and assassinated the UN teams in 1948, who blew up Hiroshima with nuclear bombs, who attacked the Indians and killed 77 million and 100 million blacks from Africa, who murdered all the people in South America and in the Caribbean, and brought slave plantations there. They are the end of the fucking world, and they always have been. They have brought us here to the end of the world. Not black people. Not the Arabs. He said, you Arabs are the ones causing all the problems and the terrorism. I just proved to you that that's a lie. In like 15 minutes, I've showed documentation and I have proven to you beyond a doubt that that's not true. But you know what? Like the Bible said, the Lord of hosts has to separate you from them. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It doesn't matter how much evil they do and they spew out of their mouths. You not going, like the Bible said, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. You not going to let go their hand until the time comes. Most people. See, I let go their hand a long time ago. I don't give a damn about them, because I already know they the devil the Bible speaks of. You see? But the wicked, you know, Hispanic and the wicked Negro in America, right? And all the other wicked groups, Saudi Arabians want to make a deal with Israel and the United States, right? Everybody want to make a deal. But what did Esdras say? They are the end of the world. You can't make a deal with them. See, if you make a deal with them at the end of the world, then you're going to get judged along with them. Do you really want to hold their hands and make a deal with them? Right? Let's bring that up before I go. Let's really do it. What did I just say? Proverbs 11:21, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. I just said that in so many words, right? When I talked about, see, what is the seed? A seed would be your child, your bloodline. The bloodlines of Jacob and the seed shall be delivered. Jesus doesn't save salvation is not for everybody. Salvation is not for the people in Israel, the terrorists in Israel. Salvation is not for the Anglo and the Judean Judo-Christian terrorism experts, right? The Judo-Christian, let's just say Judo-Christian Anglo terrorist groups. There's no salvation for them, right? So joining hand with them, hand in hand, in an interracial relationship, Billy Carson, is not going to save your ass, right? Saudi Arabia, MBS, right? Making deals with them is not going to save you. It's going to get your ass smoked. That's what's going to happen to you, right? See, the power that you're going to be dealing with in the future is a psychic power, right? Is a higher power. And so when you walk up and they ask you, did you make a deal with these people at any level? When you say, no, I didn't make no deal with them, right? Can I go through the gate, right? Can I get on the ship? Can I go, can I join in? I didn't make a deal with them. They're going to look at you and know that you're lying. You see? They're going to look at you and know that you're lying. And they're going to say, step over here to the left side, sir. You can say, wait a minute, what do you mean? I'm telling you, I didn't make a deal with them. They're going to say, yeah, you did. And you're going to say, well, how do you know that? Don't worry about it. Just step to the left. See, when you, and if you're dealing with a higher power that's not going to tolerate your bullshit and that all can see right through you. You see? And so when you join in hand and make deals with the devil, instead of saying, get behind me, Satan, and then deep in your heart, you made a deal with them. And you said, I did it for my children. I did it for my family, I swear. Yeah, I hear you. Step over here to the side. Because you didn't. You did it for yourself. You see? You did it for yourself. You did it because you thought you was gonna get a new car and a new house and a Gucci bag and a Fendi. You was gonna be a independent modern woman in America. And nobody tells me what to do. I got feminism rights and all that, right? Nobody tells me what to do. I'm my own man. Right? Tim Scott. There's no such thing as racism in America. See, when people say that shit like that, you know they made a deal with the devil. Right? Nikki Haley. These type of people. Right? Billy Carson. I got a Chinese wife. There's no such thing. We all one. The Bible don't say we all one. It say if you join hand in hand, right, you're gonna be punished. Right? They say that, but they tell you, well, we got to make a deal with the lesser of two evils in America. That's what they teach in America. They teach your children that. They say Barack Obama is the lesser of two evils. Look at him. He a black man. He evil, but we can make a deal with him because he black like me. I know he evil, but he's the lesser of two evils. So in America, right, they teach you to make deals with the devil. What's more satanic than that? You don't understand? It don't make sense to you? It's illogical? Probably because you're a woman maybe listening to this. The most illogical creatures ever, right? It says it right here, right? You cannot make a deal with them. If you do, you're gonna burn for it, right? You sign your soul over to the devil. You can't sign loyalty oaths to the state of Israel. You can't sign loyalty oaths to Joe Biden, a segregationist who wanted to put your grandmother and your mother in concentration camps. You can't vote for Joe Biden. You can't sign a loyalty oath to a wicked white man like that. You see? Not because I said so. I'm saying because the Bible says so. Aren't you a Christian? Don't you got a Bible in your house? But maybe you got a picture of white Jesus on your wall, so you're confused. You see? You really have you're dealing with people out here that really have no integrity, no codes, no morals, no ethics, no understanding of anything. They'll sign a loyalty oath to a bunch of terrorists who claim that they're not terrorists, to a bunch of racists who claim that they're not anti-black, anti-Arab, fill in the blank terrorists, that they're not white supremacist Nazis, right? While killing millions of people right in front of your fucking face, right? But then they'll tell you, well, black people are the problem. Well, Arabs are the problem. But you said, what about all these people you killing? Well, never mind that. Well, if that's not the devil, then what is? But you want to join hands with that. You say, the PBD podcast, these people are my friends. I want to go on that podcast. We all integrated in diversity together, and they're my friends. While they insult you to your fucking face. They insult your intelligence. You want to vote for Joe Biden while he says shit like, you're not black if you don't vote for me. Wait a minute, aren't you a segregationist? And your best friends, the KKK? Now you're berating me about being a black person? That if I don't join hands with you, I'm not a good black person? How the fuck does that work? Like, what kind of mental, realistic gymnastics do you have to do to make that shit make sense? How the fuck could Joe Biden tell you anything that you would listen to? Other than, I'm about to drop dead. When that's something I'd be like, oh, okay, right on. I'll listen to that. Other than that, I don't give a shit what you're talking about. Because I know it's just lies. You see? And deception. So I don't give a shit what you're talking about. Right? Unless you say, take cover, I'm making an announcement, take cover, the United States is about to get annihilated. Okay, well that's some shit I might want to hear. Other than that, I could give two fucks about what you're talking about. Because I know it's 99% of what you're saying is a fucking lie. And that you, 98%, are probably a fucking devil that the Bible speaks of. You see? And that you are the end of the world. Right? So why would I listen to you? You see? Why would I join hands with somebody that's cursed? I wouldn't. Right? Why would I sit down with some people calling me terrorists and saying that they are the good people and my people is the bad people? But there's no track record to prove that. Right? The track record says the opposite. Very satanic. That's all I got.